Alright guys, so I just got the upper level under power. We have the main line working well as the reverse section. So the auto reverser is working perfectly. I have a few feeder wires dropped on both the main line and reverse section. Eventually I want to add more, but for now it seems like power distribution is alright because I ran a test train and everything functions well. Really quick, before we run a train up here, just to show you how everything's working, do want to talk about the auto reverser really quick. You can see there are 5 ports on the terminal strip there, so you can kind of see how I wired it up. You skip the middle port. The red wire is my right hand rail. On the left side, that pair of wires is the reversing section. The right hand side is power from the main line. And this thing runs off of track power, so you don't need to have a power supply or anything. One important thing I should mention is you can see there's a little blue screw there. I don't know if you can see that off to the bottom right of the board. That is the tunable trip current adjuster. If you turn that clockwise, you increase the trip current. If you turn it counterclockwise, you decrease the trip current. I had the issue of the trip current being set too high initially, and the reason I knew that is I had a locomotive coming upgrade. It crossed over the turnout here and into the reversing section, and the auto reverser did not flip the polarity, so we had a short circuit. And that's what happens when the trip current is too high. If the trip current is too low, you might have the issue of the auto reverser switching the polarity multiple times, and in that case you would hear the board clicking a lot. So all I did for my issue was turn it about a quarter turn counterclockwise to reduce the trip current, and now everything works perfectly. So just a little thing that I figured I should point out, because I'm entirely new to auto reversers and a lot of DCC electrical stuff, so I'm learning and figured I should point that out to you guys. The other thing, I don't think I mentioned this, I was correct in changing the way we had our reverse section set up. So instead of everything being isolated from this point on in the reverse or the auto reverser controlling the main line and reverse loop as a single reverse district, we have switched that. So now that the reversing section is entirely isolated from the main line, and that will work out much better in the end. That way we don't have entire staging yards switching polarity. So we have a double gap here isolating the reverse section, as well as a double gap down at the curved turnout. And the single auto reverser is working perfectly for this, what I would consider a point-to-point reverse section rather than a loop. So everything's working out perfectly. Anyway, as I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and get a train running around just so we can, get a little glimpse at how the track all worked out. And once we do that, then we'll move on to working on the lower level reverse section, which will start to lay track down here and then go back through the staging room. And once we have that complete, we'll have trains running continuously around the entire layout. Okay guys, so I'm about ready to start working on the lower level reverse loop. You can see down here, I've marked out on the wall where our new portal will be. It's basically a mirror image of that above. Also, if you look back there, you can see I've cut the curved section already. I just need to splice it together and then set it in there, but first I need to get this hole cut so I can get the angle across here, so this curve will eventually come up flush to the section down below. So using our oscillating multi-tool, which is a really handy thing with this like hammerhead kind of like bit on it, we'll just cut out the drywall quick and easy, and I'll be back in a second once we've started a little more work on some sub-road bed. I'm just about to install the sub-road bed for the lower level reverse loop. As you can see, I've hand cut a few risers here, which was kind of more work than I'd usually have to do, but as you can see back here, I initially thought that I could just do risers coming out of your vertical supports here down below, but you know, stupid me, I didn't think about the vertical height of your actual risers, so didn't really think that out too much, but this will work fine. You can see I have my sub-road bed sections down below. Kind of a color back here, I really apologize, but I'll get this in and clean it up in just a second. But you can see I've marked out where the risers are going to go down here. So I'll move these sub-road bed sections. I'm going to assemble risers, one of these on a base here, and those combine to the proper height, and then I'll screw in the base and then set your sub-road bed up on top and then screw into this section here, and we should be good. So you can see now I have the track up through the portal here and almost out to our cork road bed, which I've also just laid through this curve and then back along our main line there. One thing you'll notice I've done is I've stopped the cork road bed right there, and then it's just going to actually transition onto the bare sub-road bed, and using one of those Woodland Scenics risers that I had for the beginning of this reverse section down in the staging area, that package came with 8 of them for some reason, so I used one just as excess. I cut off the end of it, and now this provides a smooth transition between the cork road bed and the sub-road bed. Okay, so I had mentioned earlier that I am using a tape gun to lay down track, but I didn't really show you what I was doing, so I figured I'd take a second just to show you. So if you need specifications, this is the tape gun that I'm using. It's really not tape, actually. I mean, I call it tape because it's Scotch applicator, but it's more just double-sided adhesive. What I do then with my piece of flex track, I just lay it down kind of roughly so I know how long it is. I have already, the section preceding this, I put a long strip so that it went past the end of this track, so there's already a section right there. Then I'm going to want a piece kind of in the middle, just to, so you can make sure everything's straight, and then once again one on the end that goes past the end of the piece of track. Then with the rail joiners already installed, I will attempt to slide that onto the track before. And then once the rail joiners are on, I'm just going to kind of like loosely press it down and then go ahead and look down the track and make sure everything is looking straight. I'll just kind of keep it elevated, and then once it's down, I'll just go down the track and press it into place. Then we'll see, especially where the tape is, that's not going anywhere. Okay, so I just finished the reversing section. I got this turnout installed right here. You can see the siding next to the main line. Also dropped a bunch of feeders. So if you follow it this way, you can see we curve off to the right, and then right here I have a curved turnout where the track splits off. So the initial plan actually, well, initially I wanted to do this. I didn't think it was going to work just because of the architecture of the turnout, and I wasn't really sure how that was all going to work out using a curved one, but actually this inside curve is almost exactly what I need right here. So that's perfect. I was going to have a left-hander right here, which was going to work fine. That'd just be simple. We'd have 3 tracks through here, except it gets a little cramped as you get over here towards this corner, and I wasn't going to be able to fit 3 tracks wide. So this works perfectly. You got a curved turnout here. It starts to go downgrade there. I've used this, as I pointed out already, to transition between cork roadbed and flat, and then you can see the track goes through there, through the curve. We have the drywall mounted flush against drywall and more drywall. And I haven't continued the curve this way just because I don't have a right-hand turnout down here. I thought I was going to, because I was going to rearrange the turnouts in the yard entrance and steal one of those right-handers and replace it with a curved turnout, except as you just saw, I used that curved turnout right here. So I'm going to order another right-hander, complete the siding, and then the track through here should be all done. And then after that, what we have to do is install turnouts along the siding here for all of our industries. So that's probably what I'm going to be working on next, is getting some industrial trackage in, as well as working on those buildings in here. What I'm going to do now is just kind of demonstrate how the reverse loop works down here, because it can be a little confusing. So I got a locomotive there. We're going to run it through the reverse loop. Keep in mind this unit is going downgrade. So this is after you've reversed off of Crawford Hill. If you want to imagine, just imagine that this is our train from earlier coming back downgrade. But I'm too lazy to use the full train. I'm just going to use this unit. Alright, so this guy's about to go through the turnout, switches over into the siding, and then comes down through Newport Junction, which is what this area is eventually going to be called. Then he goes through the curved turnout, and I have the auto reverser wired up right there. So you hear that click, that was the auto reverser working. Then that guy heads downgrade through the staging room. We're going to pop over there. So coming through the wall here, the locomotive starts to head down a 2% grade through the staging room. So it kind of swings over eventually the tracks will go under there, the staging tracks, and then just starts to drop down grade here. Excuse the mess too, I'm really sorry. And this down here is only a temporary setup. Eventually this track that's curving right now is going to go straight, and that right track there where that turnout is, that's where it'll eventually go. For now I have it hooked up with our main line. So if we come out here, you can see you got this guy coming out on the left track on the main line. So that's your reverse loop. If you're coming down grade, you can take that path. Alternatively, I'm going to stop this guy. If you wanted to come down grade, where that locomotive was, where it started, so right, your train's coming down grade around the curve here. Our locomotive was right here, going down grade. You can also bypass this reverse section and take it on the way up. And to do that, you would just go all the way down grade through here, work your way down into the main yard, and you'd actually be going the opposite direction of our locomotive as it is now. But then you just take the reverse loop going upgrade, and when you do that, then you empty out this way, and then you're going upgrade. But either way, right now, you are facing upgrade, if you know what I mean. So you can take the reverse loop in both directions, just depends on what route you want to take. Well guys, I think that's it for this layout construction video. Thank you so much for watching. We completed a ton in this construction video. If I'm right, I think we started all the way back with our upper level main line, got that all the way in, plus your lower level and upper level reverse loops. So I'm really excited. I have the full mainline run in, I can't say that right now, minus this section right here. I'll get to that eventually. But this has been great. I have now completed my goal for the summer, which was to get the full mainline in. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop working. So I have next week, in a few days, I think on Monday, I'm receiving NCE SB5, so that'll boost us up to 5 amps of power. I'll then use this guy just as a cab, so I can unplug and plug in around multiple UTP panels around the layout, which I've also ordered. So that'll give me some flexibility, and on top of that, we're going to have plenty more videos coming. Clearly a layout update for that, as well as running videos, because now we have a lot more running capability. And I'm also working on some kits for the industrial area, and all sorts of stuff, as well as like fascia and a lot of cosmetic layout stuff. And then I'm going to get to more track laying very soon. So as I already said, thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to check for more videos soon.